Oh my gosh, are you not having so much fun? I know I am, and it's been a joy interviewing our speakers. And here we are on day 4. We are not stopping, we are not even slowing down. This woman amazes me, and I know you're going to get so much out of her conversation with you today. So, listen, Viv, we call her Viver. Vivian is a registered nurse of over 45 years. Talk about dedication. Wow. Studied physiologic psychology, say that 3 times fast, at California State University at Northridge, a thriving survivor of metastatic breast cancer, a motivational speaker, a self-published author. Her book, Tender Moments, Diary of a First-Time Mother, she received, I don't even know what this is, IBPA Benjamin Franklin Silver Award for that first book of hers. How amazing, right? She's now a best-selling author and the American Biological Institute Golden Lifetime Achievement Award, now writing children's fiction series, that is plural, series, to help children work through the increased social and emotional challenges that accompanied the pandemic. Wow. A member of the Independent Book Publishers Association, Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. And today, Vivian will show you or share with you how you can be empowered to move through life crisis and enhance everyday life. You are a walking, amazing human. Welcome.
Thank you, Kim.
I
So,
just want to thank you. I'm going to give the stage to you. This is your time, but I want to thank you for your contribution to the book, to society, and just for carving out some time to be here with us today. And the stage is yours, my friend.
thank you. It's a day like any other day in the intensive care unit. I'm helping another nurse move her patient from the recliner chair back to their bed. We assist this tall man while managing the multiple chest tubes and IV pumps connected to him. Suddenly, he becomes wildly combative. I say to the other nurse, "This isn't working. We need to get him back in the chair and get some more help." She contested, "It's only a couple of more steps. Let's just get him into the bed," as she's moving in that direction. In his agitation, one of his chest tubes flips behind an arm of the recliner chair. I'm reaching to reposition the tube from the threat of pulling out of his chest and damaging his lungs. Suddenly, his nurse lets go and backs away. I'm left holding alone this tall, wriggling man. A sensation like mercury rising in a thermometer crawls up my spine. I struggle to get him closer to the edge of the bed. The sensation has gone up into the back of my head now. Then I feel a poof as the tall man collapses onto me and the edge of the bed. Someone rushed in to help me finish getting this gentleman onto the bed. I just wander around the unit in search of relief from an unbelievably intense pressure that I feel everywhere. But there's no relief. There's no position that changes how I feel. I see the nursing supervisor walking into the unit and then to me. Now, she and another RN are walking me to the emergency room. I'm in a state of shock, injured by the collapse, but yet unaware of my injury. I only comprehend a few things. An immense pressure through my body. There's no relief for that pressure. I desperately want to finish charting on my patients and the concern that I won't be able to pick my daughter up from school. I don't yet know enough to be frightened about my condition. The ER called my emergency contact, a close friend, also a critical care nurse, who lives a little over an hour away. Someone brought the charts I repeatedly asked for, but I have no idea what to write in them. My friend arrives with my daughter. The expressions on their faces at the sight of me told me something was very wrong. There were no x-rays or MRI done. The doctor's diagnosis, low back strain. I've had that before, more than once. That is nothing like this. His diagnosis can't be right. Yet, I'm released home in the care of my friend. We'll be staying with her until my parents can make the journey to my house. Later, we will find the next day she had finagled an appointment with her chiropractor. Not a medical doctor, but I did know him as being a fabulous clinician. He was surprised that I could even walk into his office, but he assessed 13 points of injury along my spine. Later, we would find out I also had essentially a small stroke. I could not put my hands behind my back. I couldn't reach my hands up to my head to brush my hair. My hair looked like Einstein. I walked like Frankenstein. Yet I am determined I will be able to return to my usual life and livelihood. Why? I had to. It's just me and my daughter. If I can't do that, how do I take care of my daughter? Weeks later, I was able to do some work in a side business I have. Almost a year later, I get to return to my usual work. But 20 minutes in, I'm struggling with just sticky wheels on a patient's overbed table. I'm sweating bullets. Holy cow. I can't do this. I'm not ready for this. I have to find something else, much less physical, that still requires my skills, knowledge, and experience. There was a position, an administrative position, in the process of being approved. I ended up being the hospital's risk manager. So I'm back to good with income and work that I can do that does use my skills. But what I learned from this is how I responded emotionally, intellectually, was actually unhealthy, even destructive. I needed support. I needed help, but I couldn't see it, and it wasn't being offered. Looking back, I could have experienced this in a much healthier way if I'd had a self-care process to calm my emotions and mind. The annual review of psychology says regarding emotion and decision-making, that emotional overwhelm challenges clear mental processing. Taming emotional overwhelm must be your top priority. It unlocks the ability to gather and organize your thoughts. The more control you have over emotional chaos, the greater your access to personal problem-solving skills. We don't know when crisis will strike. We can all experience a crisis out of nowhere, thrust into emotional chaos. Have you experienced a crisis or trauma? Did you have a self-care tool to call on? 11 years later, I get a call at work, different work now, biopsy lab results from my doctor. I have metastatic breast cancer. What a smack in the face. Everything feels unreal. My cancer is aggressive. Being premenopausal, I can only receive half of the treatment regime. My prognosis, uncertain. My oncologist put me in for a clinical trial. This is a life-threatening crisis, much more profound than my back injury. I'm afraid, but not stuck in fear like before. I began searching for more information. This gave me some sense of control. This fear was different. It wasn't paralyzing, and it was less dark. Even though this is another potential threat to my livelihood, potentially my very existence, I have to get a grip on this myself before I can tell my daughter. My cancer makeover journey proved harder and years longer. Complications led to extra surgeries, besides the multiple chemotherapy courses, procedures, and radiation. But I rocked this crisis. Something in me was different than before. It took a while to figure out that difference. I had a self-care tool, and it was incredibly potent. I'd been using a powerful audio technology called HoloSync daily for many months before my cancer diagnosis. It's like a workout for the structure of your nervous system. It strengthens executive function while it calms areas responsible that create stress, procrastination, and impulsive behaviors. I didn't realize it at the time, but I had created a self-care tool belt. I moved through my cancer crisis with power and grace. I don't want to face another life crisis or trauma without it. Have you ever experienced life-altering news or learned scary news about a loved one? How different would it be to have a self-care tool that could support you when learning such frightening news? Simply knowing about a self-care tool does not make it part of your tool belt. You must practice it regularly. Some tools require performing the practice at the time of need. Others simply show up. Some are a mix of both, like meditation. For those tools requiring a process to activate them, your regular practice allows easier access to the results. Fast forward now to 2020 and the pandemic. Our entire species was dropped into crisis. My personal crisis, a pandemic layoff from a job I loved. I'm just past full retirement age, but don't plan to retire for another 3.5 years so that I can retire from all employee work. Work has been a constant in my life since age 3, working as a fashion model. As an adult, I managed multiple jobs for 27 years. I promised myself this would be my last job. This forced departure leaves me nervous, emotionally bruised, and heartbroken. I want to keep my promise, but how can I retire right now? After I arrive at home, after my dismissal, I write down thoughts and strategies. Different response, right? I now have 4 empowered self-care tools in my tool belt. My goal, how can I retire right now? I knew exactly which tool I wanted to use. It's another powerful audio technology called paraliminals, specially blended recordings, which also include holosync frequencies. One study program utilizes a wide variety of individual paraliminals that are about different life processes, but address them towards that one single issue or goal by examining it from different life perspectives. Using this program, I devised a great plan to move forward to determine if I could stay unemployed and how long I could move out, delay my Social Security. I've remained retired from employment since the day of my layoff and was able to delay my Social Security for 2.5 years of my 3.5-year target. Is there an issue you would focus on? The bottom line, we need strong, easily accessible self-care processes when in crisis to diffuse emotional turmoil and ensure access to higher brain function. Practice regularly, those processes become second nature, serving you anytime, anywhere. From the first raw moments of a crisis and throughout your crisis journey, as emotions inevitably spike at various points along that journey. Across my 70 years of life, I've experienced crises both with and without self-care tools. I know, even if a crisis is life-threatening, being armed with even one powerful self-care tool can keep you in your skin and moving forward by empowering you to gain control of your emotions while in crisis and recapture balance along your healing journey. There are 3 things I want you to carry with you. First, having accessible self-care tools can significantly minimize your mental and emotional turmoil during life crises. Second, those tools must be practiced regularly to serve you when most needed. Third is now. Now is the time to explore and practice powerful self-care tools, so they are second nature by the time you need them most. The bonus, they also enhance your everyday life. I invite you to explore some empowered self-care tools today to weave into your tool belt. When that proverbial poo hits the fan and you find yourself drop-kicked into a crisis, don't find yourself without your tool belt. I have 2 gifts for you. One is a downloadable list of the most powerful self-care tools I've learned of and use. I call these empowered self-care tools. You're bound to resonate with at least one. Access to tool number 2 is free and only takes 90 seconds once learned. Number one only takes 5 to 20 seconds once learned. There are links to detailed information about each resource. None are affiliate links. I also have another gift that you can redeem, a 15-minute discovery call with me to help identify the best first empowered self-care tool for your needs. And you can email me to redeem that at viv@viviannewintersisrael.com with the subject line, Life by Design Summit. I will then reply with an email and a list of secret appointments held aside especially for our summit guests. So I would invite you to book today your discovery call a bit into the future, allowing yourself time to explore my list of empowered self-care tools to see what you were most interested in or have questions about. And that information can be found below this video. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to speak for you.
Holy crap, woman. I've got to tell you, I was crying. I was cheering. I was rooting for you. What a freaking journey. And you are such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. I didn't put you because I've been taking a class. I know you don't have time. I've been taking a class to try to do this, and I'm in the middle of it. But like my innards are